So the weather's getting colder out there, so come join us here and get cozy while we warm up by this dumpster fire of an episode of Willow. Hit that intro.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys, if it's your first time joining us, welcome. We're two dads. Well, one dad today who loves all things fandom, from Star Wars to Star Trek, Marvel to DC, Middle Earth on down to Westeros. We love it all. We want to bring all of our insights and love of all things nerdy to you, our viewers. So if that's your cup of tea, then we're here for you, and you should definitely subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on all of our amazing reviews and insights that we bring to all of our favorite fandoms. So thanks for joining, guys. I'm Chris Matthews. As you can see, we are sans Matt Parham today, my co-host. This episode was so bad that my buddy ducked out. No, not really, though, guys. Basically, what happened is it's holiday season, and he's traveling, so I'm doing this solo. Han Solo, that is. So let's get right into it, guys. Let's pull up that Rotten Tomatoes score for you. On Rotten Tomatoes, we also got no critic consensus. And so I went ahead and looked at the series as a whole. Right now, it's sitting at 85% out of critics. There's 62 critics altogether. 53 rated this fresh, 7 out of 10. 9 rated it as rotten, but the audience score of this is at 32%. So that's fun. So let's go ahead and find out what this dad thought of episode 5 of Willow. So let's get into it. Guys, I gotta say, I watched this last week before Christmas and everything, and then I got to watch it with my daughter too. And she wanted to come on here as well and rate this, but after the episode, she decided not to. So maybe that tells you something about this episode of Willow. But I gotta say, we are halfway through this season. There's 8 episodes altogether of Willow. We have 3 more left. And I gotta say, having an episode where they just basically stop the plot altogether and settle into the Wildwoods here was interesting at most. Last week's episode, I was like, oh, cool. At least we're going to get a really awesome fight with the Gales and everything. But that didn't even really happen. We had a nice little quick intro of them running away, and Willow uses a flamethrower, and they ask him about it. I was like, what's that? And he's like, don't worry about it. And then he just runs off, and they're just running the whole time. And they just decide to go into the Wildwoods. And I'm just like, okay, that was anticlimactic. What's to stop these creatures from actually going in there? I mean, they're supposed to be dangerous, but at the same time, do these villains really care? I didn't think so. So that was interesting. And the whole subplot with Jade being a Bone Reaver's daughter and whatnot, it just didn't play out. Like, we didn't have enough setup for that character to experience that. And I gotta tell you, like, all of this modern music that they're infusing into the show on a fantasy show is kind of odd. I like it at the end of the episode when they do it in the credits, but when it's in the show, when they're all dancing there with the Bone Reavers, who, by the way, were all wearing skulls at the beginning, and all of a sudden, as soon as they find out they're nice and cool folks, and Jade's there's one of them, none of them are wearing those skulls anymore. What happened there? I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments. But having that kind of modern music in there kind of takes me out of the fantasy element of the show. Even my daughter commented on there. She's like, this is a weird choice. So they've been making some weird choices in the show. I don't know. This whole show is kind of going off the rails for me. I'm not invested at all in it. And I can tell you now, Fatherly Fandom, here at Fatherly Fandom, we're not going to cover a season 2 if it gets greenlit, which Lucasfilm, end it right now. You're not doing a good job with Willow. You're not living up to the movie itself. I gotta say, it's just been not that good. And the whole plot there with Kit and Jade and their will they won't they love situation, it just, I knew something was going to happen too. The trolls show up at the end, and any kind of interesting thing always ends up happening at the end. And then the next episode, it resolves really quickly, and then we're on to more of the boring stuff, honestly. So let's go ahead and go into our ratings. It's going to be a nice short episode for you guys out there. But I would say this is probably my least favorite episode. This is a dumpster fire of an episode. So I'm going to give this one probably my lowest rating I've ever given anything here on Fatherly Fandom. So it's a 4 out of 10 for me here. If you're watching it, I'm sorry. This show is just a slog, and Matt was really excited to do this show, and he suggested it. I was on the fence about it, and I really hope we didn't cover it, but here we are. We're covering it, and I'm bringing the show to you guys. But we are going to be revving up here for Bad Batch is coming out on January 4th, as well as Mandalorian on March 1st. So I can't wait for those shows. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun here at Fatherly Fandom. We're going to have a lot of smaller episodes too. We'll be recording a Luke Skywalker episode this week for you guys. So stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, you can find our stuff where we have a podcast now, a version of the show. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically anywhere you can find podcasts nowadays. Simply just search for Fatherly Fandom. You can also find us all over the web here at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Simply type in Fatherly Fandom. You'll find us. And as always, guys, from our families to yours, have a good one.